What's good, y'all? It's Drew here, back with another video. Today, we are going to talk about One Piece chapter 1023, because that joint was a banger. Don't forget to like, subscribe for more anime content if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification to see more anime content. Obviously, question of the day is simple. What was your favorite part of the chapter? Because this joint was really gas, I'm not going to lie to you. So, obviously, we're going to get right to the, the juice of, we're going to get right into the main part. And obviously we had Sanji and Zoro, and we know that their fight kind of began, and people had some qualms, and they were kind of discussing whether it was going to be a 1v1 or if there's going to be like a team on, like a, a tag team type match. And right now it's looking towards like the tag team type match thing. So Sanji's basically, so they're fighting and stuff, and we get a little thing from Marco real quick, which I think is really, really interesting. And Marco's thinking about a conversation that he had with Whitebeard. And I think this is probably the first time we've ever had like a flashback from Marco in this type of situation. But he's remembering what Whitebeard told him, and basically it was like, I thought mariejois was the only thing that was on the red line. And Whitebeard's like, no, I'm talking about back in the distant past. Back then, God's land was up there. So right there, we're gonna get some more stuff on that, but that's really interesting. It seems like there's a lot of stuff with that in King. We know it seems like he's from a race where people were on the red line. And it looks like Whitebeard says that Whitebeard obviously knew more than he was letting on, obviously through the years and stuff. But it looks like Whitebeard knows a lot of information, and I think Marco knows information. So we might get more about King's race, the red line. Again, I think we're getting to I think we're getting to end goal here. We're getting to like the end of One Piece. Like, let's keep it a bean. But Marco's we're still on the battlefield, obviously, but we're still on the battlefield. So Marco got caught slipping because he's out here literally daydreaming, and Izo has to literally save him. So that was a fun scene. And Sanji says something really interesting to Zoro, where he basically says he's used the raid suit about 2 times now, and he feels his body feels kind of off. And obviously you have Zoro taking a stab at him, like, bro, you say you feel off, maybe it's your eyebrows. It's just like, it's definitely, Oda's definitely pushing something there, right? So we don't know what the side effects of the raid suit are. I think I just thought of something that's kind of, I don't know why I didn't think of this, but what if like the raid suit, there's a chance that the raid suit could be a certain way in which it could affect Sanji's body permanently, because we know Sanji has a normal human body, unlike his siblings, and Queen is, he's really confused by that. He's like, that doesn't make sense. Like, for goodness sake, that doesn't make sense. Like, your leg lights on fire. It's not like you're Lunarian, and like, right there we see Queen basically have like an exclamation, or we see King have an exclamation point, or I think it's ... Which right then, I don't know what Lunarian is, and neither do you, I'm assuming, but that got me thinking about King. Obviously, it seems like King's race, that's probably something they could do. I mean, there's a couple ways Oda could take this. Maybe he can make Sanji Lunarian. I don't know if he could do that. I was kind of thinking of maybe Sanji, his body is becoming more like his siblings, where he's becoming like a modified human. I know some Sanji fans wouldn't like that, but that's the way I saw it as well. But so that stuff is happening. That's really lit, obviously. Zoro's fighting King, and they're having an exchange, and basically the gist from what I got is that it's not like a swordsman fight. There's a lot of people were talking about, King has a sword, so it's a swordsman duel. That's something that Zoro has not got in a long, long time. But it doesn't seem like it's that. But we see that King is not fighting like a swordsman. He even says, like, I don't understand why people stick to those traditional swordsman techniques, which I think is just telling you this is not a swordsman fight. Because, there are people like, shout out Zage. I was talking to Zage a couple times, some time ago, and he talked about why he thought that the Zoro and King 1v1 will be a thing where Zoro is going to fight him 1v1 because he's a swordsman. But the way King's talking, even the way King's fighting, it's showing that he's not really a swordsman. So that, that logic might not have to, happen type thing. Hyogoro's basically talking, and he's watching the kind of Zoro fight. They're trying to make sure that no one is involved, like none of the, not the gifters, but none of the fodder involves the Queen, Sanji, between the Zoro, Sanji, Queen, and King fight. Like, so basically it's just their fight type thing. And we get a lot of exposition, Basically, they're talking about why when Hyori gave Zoro enma, no one really batted an eye, and the reason for that was because he and Ushimaru were like two peas in a pod, which is the name of the chapter. So everything is tying to this little point right here. And they say right down to the sword handling, it's uncanny. So it seems like this Ushimaru guy is a 3-sword style user. And I guess I'm really curious on what Zoro fans really think about this, because for the most part, Zoro fans I think the community feeling was like they don't really want, the community feeling was always like we don't really want Zoro to have any relation to anyone important and stuff like that. And I kind of was on that wave too. But it seems like Zoro might be related to this guy. Like people saying that he's very similar to them. He's like people saying down to his sword styling is very similar. And then obviously they say that Zoro reminds him so much of a young Ryuma, which, I mean, if you've seen Ryuma and you've seen Zoro, they look very similar. But the most important thing was that Ryuma was a one-eyed swordsman. And to me, that kind of makes Zoro's one-eye thing that he's had since time skip makes it very mysterious. Because the fact that Oda made Zoro a one-eyed swordsman when he was not originally when the series began, in fact, he made him a one-eyed swordsman. And now Ryuma was a one-eyed swordsman, especially probably in his youth. We see a little picture of him, and he looks just like Zoro. Like it actually looks very, very uncanny. Like they said it, he looks like Zoro with one eye. So it's like, okay, so I mean, Ayo, Zoro, your pops, not your pops, but your ancestor might have been Ryuma, which I think people have been calling for whatever reason. And we go to the inuarashi fight with Jack, and obviously I think they fought a while. It's been a while since that battle began, but that fight has started, and we actually see him in his sulong form, which we haven't seen for a long, long time. Well, I think we've never seen. And he actually turns into it and surprised Jack because I think somehow during the battle he opened a hole, because they're fighting obviously in Onigashima, and he opens a hole, and it's on some Goku type stuff, so it basically lets him transform. So that was really cool. And his sulong form that's clean. I ain't gonna speak on it. That joint is clean. Obviously, so we get to see Inuarashi and Nekomamushi's sulong forms in back-to-back, scenes. So that was a cool thing. Hopefully he gets perospero off the paint, because we're not messing with perospero at all. And finally, we end off with this panel looked beautiful. I'm not gonna cap. We see Luffy and we see a giant Momo dragon. And Momo looking at him, he looked like Kaido. I'm not gonna speak on it. Bro looks like Kaido. And like, obviously they're telling him step back, and Luffy knows it's Momo. Luffy has a little flashback of seeing young Momo, and it's a cool scene. It's like they're kind of hyped. And Luffy sees Shinobu's crying. He's like, "Why are you crying?" And Shinobu basically what she says is she says like, you look just. She saw Momo. She's like, "You look just like," and she stops. And at first I was confused. From looking at Momo, I think he looks like Kaido. But is that what she's saying? I mean, I don't know why. I mean, I'm not gonna act like she didn't have a reason to cry for saying a Kaido look-alike. But it's just kind of weird. There might be a dragon. I'm not saying. Y'all can let me know. But it looks like Kaido, so that could be a reason why she's crying and stuff. But more importantly, last panel. This is definitely a Zoro chapter. So Zoro gonna get the front page. Zoro to go. You can't speak on Zoro's name, bro. But Luffy and Wano. Well, Luffy basically says, "Momo, let's go to Wano," and Momo's like, "Yeah." So that's hype. So hopefully next chapter we get back to Roof Piece. I guess, I mean, you can really count this all as Roof Piece, but we get back to the rooftop and we'll see Kaido and Yamato. I think Yamato might be out of it. Like, she seems like she's probably, we haven't seen her obviously, but I'm imagining that she can't hang with Kaido this long. This is kind of crazy. But I don't know how strong Momo is. Obviously, I think Momo got aged to 28 years old, which is 20 years. So basically his normal age. So depending on how Shinobu's powers work, maybe when this whole Wano stuff ends, he'll be that age. He can be the the shogun of Wano and stuff. Maybe he goes with Luffy, and then I don't really know what's going to happen with Momo, but I'm interested to see it. Obviously, I wonder if Momo's actually going to be powerful and useful in the fight, because people think that Momo's going to aid in killing Kaido, because obviously Momo, Kaido, Odin. There's a lot of stuff there. But shout out, the Zoro stuff is the most interesting, I think, followed by the King stuff. We got some more stuff from last chapter. Obviously, this is gas for sure, and I think, for all the ZKK people, I mean, this definitely helps your agenda. Like, I'm not really a part of that, but it is interesting to see, because if Oda's going to write it, if Oda's going to write Kaido to die in some way, Zoro being one of the people to do it, I mean, makes sense. But obviously, I'm just curious to see what you guys' thoughts on this are, because there's a lot of stuff going on. But yeah, let me know what your favorite part of the chapter is, because I feel like there's a lot of banger parts. But I'm out, so peace.